1-0 are the Mountaineers. 1-0 is West Virginia University as they take down Robert Morris 45-3. And we welcome you in on this Saturday night. Atticus Pead, Cam Murray, Zach Anderson, all here with you tonight as we break down WVU's first game. And guys, I want to hear your thoughts. First things first, though, quick recap for everyone. 45-3, WVU wins. Nicco Marchiol comes out as the starter, 17 of 20, 224 yards and a touchdown. But really, the Mountaineers get it done on the ground. Over 600 yards of offense today, and Robert Morris a paltry 123 on their end. So, my first question to you guys, how you feeling? First game.
All right, well, I don't want to be a Grinch, all right? I don't want to be a Grinch when it comes to this. They got to win. They got a great win, 45-3, like we just said. And Coach Rich Rodriguez talked about it in the press conference after the fumbles, uncharacteristic, not what you want to see in week one from his team. 3 fumbles in a row, 3 plays in a row were fumbles for West Virginia. And I don't want to make it seem like West Virginia lost this game by any means, but it was 10-3 at the half. You know, they made this game. West Virginia was beating West Virginia in that first half. We all know it. But let's say some good things about what happened today. The pregame intro video with Owen Schmidt, that got me fired up. That was sweet. That was really something. And you know, once you hear the band start playing and you hear the fans screaming, the Gold Rush environment, that's what college football is, and I'm just so happy that we're back and covering it. But fumbles, gonna have to clean that up. They're gonna have to win some more games. Obviously, can't be having 3 fumbles. Can't be having 4 fumbles in a game. So
I think
that's
they had
one
5
thing.
total.
5 total fumbles.
Lost 4 or lost 3.
Yep.
Lost
for those
3,
of you at home, 5 fumbles for the Mountaineers tonight. 4 of them in the first half, if I remember correctly. 3 of them lost, 1 of them not. 1 of them very close to being a disaster. Fumble in your own red zone area. So Zach and Cam, they went to the game. I watched on TV from home. So Zach, you were there as well. What did you think from today's game?
Yeah, I just love the energy. I mean, the first game with Rich Rodriguez back, you gotta love the energy you saw. The fans showed out. I mean, it was a packed house against Robert Morris, like you said. It's a lower opponent, but Mountaineer fans still packed the house, Atticus, and you got to be happy with the second half performance. First half performance, 10-3. It seemed like Robert Morris was controlling the pace in the first half. They were trying to slow West Virginia down, and it kind of worked. It was 10-3 at half. But West Virginia on the ground, I mean, 600 yards. I did not expect that at all. No. Whenever you talked about that before we started here, I did not expect 600 yards for the Mountaineers. But they took care of business as it went on. So.
They did. They really did. And as you're looking at it, you're watching our video stream here, you see Cam's head covering the 3 points that Robert Morris scored. It really doesn't matter that much. They weren't even in the game at all.
No,
Robert Morris was terrible. And that's not a bad thing, Robert Morris. I mean, it's an FCS team. It is what it is. WVU really wasn't challenged defensively. But I think there were a lot of good things defensively to take away from this game. We'll get to the offense in just a moment. I think the defense, though, is what impresses everyone to start things off. You know what, actually, let's get to the defense in a second. Really, we haven't talked about the big thing because that's what we need to get to. It's Nicco Marchiol, the starting quarterback.
Yes, let's start there.
I mean, let's be honest. Marchiol had a great day. 17 of 20, 224 yards. And really, it's not just that was the most impressive part. It's not the completion percentage. It really was the decision-making because he made great decisions all game long. In college, obviously, you run the run-pass option frequently, and that's how things work for Rich Rodriguez's offense. You look at his stats here for Marchiol, great day for him, and that's really what it came down to for me watching Marchiol play today. He knew how to control the game, he knew how to handle the ball, he knew what he was doing, and made good decisions throughout. I see no reason why he shouldn't be quarterback 1 from here on out.
I agree with you, and what he did making good decisions, that 46-yard touchdown pass to Cam Vaughn, he took a chance on that. I mean, we're usually seeing these short passes outside and not trying to make a mistake, not trying to do anything too much. But when he had that 46-yard touchdown pass to Cam Vaughn, obviously the whole stadium's going to light up.
That was a nice grab by Cam Vaughn.
But you know, what I've been seeing since March, when I went to go see a spring practice in March, and obviously fall camp for the summer, he's been the leader. He's been the guy, #1 in the reps. And obviously they're going to say, well, you can't take what you're seeing in practice. You can't assume the depth chart at that point. Well, you know, the fans, the media, people in that media room, Zach, we all pretty much knew that it was Nicco Marchiol taking the first snap.
You expected it. You expected it. And Nicco had started some games here and there for West Virginia under Neil Brown, but you see now he's grown a little bit. I mean, 56 rushing yards in this new Rich Rod offense, the run and shoot. I mean, it was classic Rich Rodriguez out there for the Mountaineers today. You see him also pass for 220 yards. I mean, it's just a great all-around performance. I'm sure it's exactly what Rich Rodriguez wanted. Of course, the fumbles, like we said, those need to be cleaned up. But that's not on Nicco. He didn't fumble at all. He played great. I thought so in his first game starting this year.
I heard in the presser as well, the tempo, obviously the tempo was something that Robert Morris, like you said, was trying to slow down for West Virginia. They were trying to run the ball, to control the clock. And if West Virginia didn't fumble the ball so many times, the tempo, we probably could have seen it a lot more. We probably could have seen them go faster and obviously put up more points on the board if they didn't fumble 3 plays in a row in that first half.
The tempo was surprising.
You know, that was something, obviously, we've been hearing it all year. Spot the ball, get out of the way. Whether it's any show in the country, that's what Rich Rod's all about. Spotting the ball, get out of the way, and run the play. And we saw that a lot of times. Obviously, the fumbles, I don't want to talk too much about it, but it is week 1. But it is something to think about. I mean, maybe there's guys that haven't had a chance to really play on a stage like that, but what's going to happen when Pitt comes into town? Are they going to get nervous holding the ball? Rich Rodriguez did say in the press conference that maybe he should have spent a little bit more time with live tackling in practice, trying to help guys understand that when the helmets are coming at you, or guys are coming, protect the ball. That's the most important thing. That's the program. He's talked about it. The football is the program. That's West Virginia football. So if the program's on the field and in the end zone like it was in that case when the guy stripped it out of Cam Vaughn's hand or had it up there, that's the program. You can't be fumbling. So I'm sure they're going to figure it out. And Rich Rodriguez was not pleased in the press conference. He admitted it and said we could have won by a lot more. We could have shown a lot more if we hadn't fumbled the ball and turned the ball over. But those things, week 1. But I think all in all, it was a great game. And we saw multiple guys show, like quarterbacks and other players, younger guys. I think all in all, it was a great game. And a lot of things we can take from it that were pretty good.
You just got to hope that the fumbles were just growing pains. I mean, it's a new offensive scheme. Sure. These guys are not used to running the tempo. Of course, it's a brand new roster as well. I mean, the Mountaineers welcomed in, I heard, 79 players, new players this year.
The broadcast called it 81.
81, okay. So
whichever one you like, it's
somewhere
a lot.
around 80 new players on this roster. You're guaranteed to have some growing pains, new head coach as well. So the Mountaineers, you saw the growing pains with the fumbles, but I'm sure those were just that, growing pains.
Yep. Now, and that is sort of how you can look at this game, too. Obviously, this is not glass half full, half empty. I think it's more like 70% full, 75% full. Yeah, but a lot of people on our social media mention this. If this were Penn State, you're losing by 4 touchdowns. And it honestly felt like that, too, especially at the start of the game. That first half was miserable with the fumbles and the constant mistakes and the penalties and things like that.
I saw Jaheim White get frustrated on the sideline during the game. I mean, it's just it was visible for him. He grabbed his helmet and was just like, man, why can't we get this to work? Clearly, he got it to work later in the game.
Yeah,
and it wasn't just him. That, I think, is one of the biggest parts of the game that I took away from it. Whenever something went wrong, West Virginia went to 3 guys. They went to Marchiol, they went to Cam Vaughn, and they went to Jaheim White every single time.
Solid, steady guys.
Every single penalty, every single thing that happened, every single holding that was called or backwards penalty they got, they would look for a big play, and every time it was to Cam Vaughn or Jaheim White. Every single time. There were a couple times they tried like Jaden Bray and such, but pretty much every time it was Cam Vaughn and Jaheim White. And I think that's a big deal because really, we saw a lot under the Mountaineers over the past few years trying to spread the ball around, trying to find a guy who could be the guy. And it never really happened because they would just look for so many different people. You never really knew who the guy was on third down. Donaldson was good. C.J. Donaldson was good. Jaheim White was good. But they would always try to mix it up. And so I just felt like when you were watching the game, you never really knew who needed to get the ball late in the game. It just felt like plays were being called rather than a system was being followed or put out there. So now I think it's very obvious. There's a full system happening out there. It's very clear what the situation is. If you need a play, you go to Jaheim White, you go to Cam Vaughn. And if they're double covered, then you can go someone else. But if they're not, you're going to them every time, period.
And then at the end of the game, when you want to drain the clock in a situation like this where you're up 45-3 at the end of this ball game, those are the guys you can rely on to grind out those first downs and really take care of the game and finish it for you.
I mean, 26 first downs today, I think if I recall seeing that correctly. 26 first downs on the Mountaineers. Rich Rodriguez wants 25. Boom, mission accomplished. Perfect. Again, it's Robert Morris. Not a lot of adversity here today. But I think for Rich Rodriguez, a good day all around, apart from the fumbles. I think you're feeling pretty confident after week 1.
Yeah, and we saw a bunch of oars in the depth chart when it comes to quarterbacks. So we saw 4 guys out there today.
5 oars on the depth chart is crazy.
Yeah, so we saw everybody today except for Max Brown, Max Anderson, and Scott Keene on the depth chart, or on the roster, I should say. And out of those guys, from what we saw from Jalen Henderson, not much in the passing game, obviously. Maybe some mistakes on his part. Maybe some guys the routes weren't run correctly. He was trying to throw the ball, but it just wasn't working out. The running game was working for him very well today. But the guy that took everyone's attention away was Scotty Fox.
Yeah, definitely.
That run down the sideline. If he's a guy that they hope to continue to grow and progress, this is a guy that we could be seeing hopefully for years to come. But, the NIL situation, the team could come out of nowhere and drop $1 million bag and, well, it's all over. But, I mean, this is a new era. You never know.
Hey,
but
if I'm Scotty Fox,
gold and blue.
Hopefully he does, but if I'm Scotty Fox and you don't play much the rest of the year, I'm saving that clip and I'm calling Ohio or whomever needs a quarterback, and hey, $50,000 for the bag? I'm kidding, of course. I have no idea how much you charge for that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to that. It comes down to who do you have right now, who can you put on the field to win right now, who puts you in position to win right now.
But you want to retain, too.
Yes, and I think at the end of the day, Marchiol obviously is quarterback one. Yes. It seems pretty clear. Yeah. Jalen Henderson, change of pace. Let's be honest. He didn't seem like as good of a thrower as Marchiol did. And Scotty Fox seemed like he really added something. So I think at the end of the day, the West Virginia team has their stars. But they may have other people they can rely on in situations where need be. And the Mountaineers are going to run so many plays. They're going to run this quick offense throughout most of the season. I think that's pretty clear after today. They want that tempo up. They want those play numbers up. You're going to need backups. You're going to need people to run other plays. We saw Marchiol ran 13 times today. Jaheim White 18. They ran 53 times with the ball today. 53 touches is a lot, and those are not just going to those three guys, the Cam Vaughn, White, and Marchiol. You're going to get more people in the game. Yeah.
Since your Bowers, the backup tailback, he got 6 carries as well, and he had a touchdown and 54 yards on those carries. I mean, you're going to see a lot of guys touching the ball, Atticus. So.
Cam, I think as we get ready for Ohio next week, I think there's a clear improvement over 2024. It's pretty obvious. Yes. You can see the system. The competition, of course, nothing like what you'll see in the Big 12 in a couple weeks. There's a clear improvement. But I think now you see a gradual step up as we go week by week here from the team. Now they need to turn those gradual steps from good to better and so on into a bigger step, because a Robert Morris team over to Ohio is a big step.
Yeah, it is.
Ohio played really well on the road to Rutgers this week. They lost, but they looked pretty good. And then you step up to Pitt. So you have the steps, but you have to make those steps quick if you're a Mountaineer team, and you cannot afford these turnovers next week and beyond.
No, not if you want to. And Rutgers, you want to say what you will about their standing in the Big Ten, whatever the case may be, that they still scored 30 points against a Big Ten school at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So this is a team that can score points, knows how to score points. Obviously, their offense is very good. Defense, maybe some question marks on that side of the ball. But if West Virginia, like we said, can control what they can control, not turn the ball over, and keep that high-tempo offense, keep the defense on the field, keep them guessing, well, West Virginia's going to have a great chance to win that game next week. Yeah. And they use that momentum heading into that Pitt game, which credit to the schedule makers for this season. This is a great thing for them to have.
It's great to be gradual with the schedule. I do appreciate that for whoever made the schedule, maybe athletic director M. Baker. But Ohio, correct me if I'm wrong, they were defending MAC champion last season, correct? So that's not an easy matchup, especially going on the road. No. Now, it's a favorable matchup for a road game because you do have some WVU fans close by. I mean, it's 45 minutes from the Wood County border, my home county there in Parkersburg. So, there's a lot of West Virginia fans nearby. I'm sure they'll travel out there to Athens for that game. So you have a little bit of, home cooking on your side there with some fans. But that's not going to be an easy game against an Ohio team that won the MAC last year and played well against a Power 4 opponent, albeit, like you said, we don't know what Rutgers really looks like in terms of their standing in the Big Ten. But still a good game coming up next week.
So WVU got a few days to prepare here as they get ready for next Saturday's game on the road to Ohio. Before we go here, Cam, final thoughts on today's game, what you saw here in the stadium.
Well, I saw just a lot of fans who were excited to see Rich Rodriguez come back.
Yeah, our social said that
The man trip, I mean, that's everything comes into this start of the season. It's really going well for West Virginia in terms of whether it's PR or what's going on in the field. The fans, for good reason, believe in this team. And there's no reason at this point why they shouldn't believe in this team. They can continue the same things we saw today, the good things, and clean up the bad. But I think after today, you did what you were supposed to do. And people in Vegas out there, they didn't cover the number in Vegas, 38.5. They still put up 38 points over a team. So maybe those people aren't as happy. But if you're a fan of West Virginia, you saw your team put up 45 against an FCS school, do what they had to do in week one, and I think fans should be pleased with what they saw.
I agree with you. Fans should be pleased because that was the bottom line. You need to take care of business. You need to defeat an FCS opponent and it not be close. And they did that. At the bottom line, despite the fumbles, they did that.
Yes.
And that it's a great precursor into the Ohio game. You get to see who you have, what plays you can make, what plays work, what plays don't work. Maybe those fumble plays, maybe Rich Rodriguez says, hey, let's take those out. Maybe something didn't work there. Cam Vaughn, maybe you shouldn't try to hurdle someone going into the end zone and fumble as you head into the end zone. So it's a great precursor. They did what they needed to do. That's the bottom line.
It is. And we haven't talked much about it here, but at the end of the day, the defense was really, really solid today. Not for the 3 points. Ignore the 3 points. That's what I was getting at earlier with Cam's head covering the 3. The 3 doesn't really matter. It's nice. It's an FCS school. Who cares? What matters to me, the 123 yards given up is excellent.
Yeah,
You're not going to do that the rest of the year, but that's great. And beyond that, when you watch the highlights of this game, you don't see one guy making a tackle on defense for WVU. You see like 4 or 5 on every single play. You saw that everywhere across the field. It didn't matter if it was a pass, didn't matter if it was a run up the middle, run outside. There were multiple people every single tackle, and that to me was the big difference from last year.
Yeah.
Zach Alley's defense, it's not just the talent that they have. We don't really know how talented they are. We're going to see that as we get into Ohio and Pitt. But the talent isn't really what I take away from day one. What I take away from day one is the effort is there. These guys clearly like playing football, and they love playing football. And that is a big difference from last year's team, which, I mean, frankly, after the first half of the year, didn't look like they wanted to be out there anymore. This was a really big improvement.
You can just tell that this is a motivated, hard-nosed Rich Rodriguez coach team because they have the effort from play one to the last play of the game. You could tell the effort was there, Atticus. So I completely agree.
And I think as we go forward here, we're going to get a bigger sense of what WVU is and what they can be. We've seen what they can be so far, but again, the ceiling on today's game is nothing compared to what you'll need to see to beat Ohio, what you'll need to see to beat Pitt, I should say.
True.
So there's plenty left to see. We're excited to see what the team can do as we head into this next week, guys.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back for more next week. You can find us more on the 5 Sports Show on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and beyond. We're going to bring you more from WVU as we get ready for that second game at Ohio and our high school football teams around the area. We'll give you a full recap of Week 1 and beyond as we get into this football season. It is great to be back. We've waited all year for it. It's the most wonderful time of the year, guys.
It is.
There's no better time. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great night and enjoy this first win here in the Rich Rodriguez era, the second time around, second winningest coach in WVU history. No better start than that, 45-3. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great night.